Hi, Mark. Here it is Wednesday, February the 4th, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 2:30 p.m. GMT. US session well underway now and going into the last portion of the European session. Let's have a look at the US dollar index to start, and slightly up on yesterday's close. Small green candlestick. Looking at resistance 97.45, buyers will look to test break above this level and maintain above this area, which is unable to do over the last 2 days. Support 97.17, and that's the level sellers will be looking at. If there's a turnaround from the early start of strong US dollar and a turnaround to weak US dollar, sellers will be looking to take out the today's low, yesterday's low, just above the 97 level. Let's have a look at the majors. The euro against the US. Downtrend very much still in place. Bit of a fight back yesterday from the euro. US dollar sold off a little bit today, carrying on with selling euro, buying US dollar strength going into this US session. I've got support at 118.05. That's the level sellers will be looking to break below. I've got resistance at 118.39. Buyers of euro, sellers of US, same as yesterday, will be looking up at that resistance level. But so far, strong US dollar to start and support being tested right now. Let's have a look at the pound against the US. Similar pattern. US not yet uh, kind of a doji candle, not yet a red candlestick, which would be selling pound, buying US, and the US strengthening. For now, sitting at yesterday's close, US dollar fought, pound fought back that little bit yesterday. US dollar gave up gains. We'll see today whether buyers of pound, sellers of US can continue from yesterday. Look up at resistance 137.35, and I've got support at 136.85. Buyers have tested higher, weren't able to maintain. We'll see if we get a continuation of dollar strength, selling pound, buying US, and sellers looking to test the support at 136.85. Let's have a look at the US against the yen. Here, certainly strong US dollar. You can see that this is the fifth consecutive day, higher highs and support at 155.79. I've got resistance 156.85. Given up a little of those gains, the US, you can see the wick left behind here, but certainly strong US dollar as the US session gets underway and buyers in control. EMAs have crossed to the upside and US dollar strength against the yen as today's US session does get underway. If there's going to be a turnaround from strong US dollar to weak US dollar, the bounce will come off this area. You can see the wick already left behind, and sellers will be looking down at this 155.79. If we just zoom in on the hourly, there you see the on the shorter time frame on the hourly, there has been a turnaround that is selling US, buying yen. We'll see whether that can be maintained through the US session. And let's have a look at the US against the Canadian. And there you can see uptrend still in place, buying US, selling Canadian. US strengthening against the Canadian so far today. I've got support at 136.30. I've got resistance at 136.75. But there's a little wick at the top of the candlestick, which is a bit of a turnaround from the early US dollar strength. The wick showing selling US, buying Canadian, Canadian fighting back. And also you can see we do have, even though it's a green candlestick uptrend, we have a succession at this point of lower highs. So we'll see how that plays out during the US session, where the US dollar buyers can recoup yesterday's losses, go up to test this 36.75 and look up at 137, or if we're going to get selling US dollar, buying Canadian. If the Canadian can fight back like it did yesterday, sellers looking down at the 136.30. So we've got our resistance support levels in on our relevant majors. US dollar certainly starting strong. We saw it again on the US dollar index. We'll see how that plays out during the day, and I will see you at end of day session. Good trading.